Imagine how much your future would actually be limited, the outcomes of your future, if you didn't know that you actually have free human agency. This is an issue for a lot of people, and the reason is because they were raised in survival. They were raised without healthy boundaries. They were raised without individuation and differentiation. They essentially didn't get to develop into an autonomous, free thinking and feeling and behaving individual. When you don't develop that way, you essentially are out of touch not only with yourself and what it is that you truly want, but your own capacities to make decisions for yourself. And I'm not here to talk about like, oh, we don't have free will, any other kind of like forces or any beliefs. I'm talking about the actuality of any given individual and the reality that, yeah, in any given moment, you can choose whatever the fuck you want to. All the while, of course, understanding that there are consequences, cause and effect. You choose something, something happens. It's really that simple. But the reason why I'm making this video is very specifically centered around the understanding that if you are not aware that you have free human agency, that you have the freedom to choose for yourself as an autonomous individual, especially separate from the likely, I guess the word is homeostatic system that you came from, your future would end up being exceedingly limited. And the reason I say that is because the choices that you're making right now, if you came from an unhealthy and enmeshed, dysfunctional family system, the decisions that you're making right now, if you have not done the work to heal all of that stuff and become an autonomous, free thinking, feeling, and behaving individual, it's likely that the decisions that you're making right now and have been forever are tied to the comfort and familiarity of that system, of what mommy and daddy think that you should do, of maybe what your siblings think you should do, maybe even what your friends think you should do. And I understand it can be very comfortable and familiar to stay inside of that structure. But the first and foremost important thing to understand here is that you have free human agency. Understanding that is absolutely crucial. And again, this is not the argument of do we have, I guess it kind of is the argument of do we have, yes, you have free will. You do. I don't know about any of this predestination stuff. You can believe whatever you want to believe. The very reality of the matter is that in any and every given moment, you have free human agency to choose whatever the fuck you want to do, to change your mind. Some people think that they're not allowed to change their minds. Some people have made decisions and they were taught that, oh shit, you made it, you made that decision, you stick with it. No. You determine yourself. What do you want? Oh, do you now, with a new sense of understanding, realize that you don't actually want the things that you did previously, and previously you were basing them off of the system in which you came from? It's very important to understand how crucial this is. I'm not here to instill fear into anybody, just a very honest sense of understanding as to the reality of this. If you are unaware of your free human agency, if you are unaware that you were raised in a system of enmeshment where you learned to get caught up inside of all of these shoulds and should nots that came from other people, fucked up super ego shit, then it's likely that you've been caught forever in a dynamic and a cycle of what other people want for you rather than what it is that you want for yourself. Like, really, just like, think about it. Do you actually want the things that you're doing? Or are you just doing them because you were told that you should? You can do whatever you want to. And that's the reality. That what I just said there is the reality. It's the theme of this. You can do whatever you want to. It doesn't matter what dad told you should do. It doesn't matter what mom told you should do. Brother, sister, friends, teachers. It doesn't fucking matter. Nobody else has the fucking key to your life. Nobody else knows you better than you know yourself. And if they're claiming that they do, then they're probably either manipulative as fuck or a fucking narcissist. And again, I don't like labels at all. But just look at the symptoms, look at the behaviors, look at the characteristics. I try to avoid labels as often as I can, as often as necessary. Understanding that you have free human agency is the difference between living inside of a future that is desired by you because you actually did the work to recognize, oh, wait a second, I have free human agency. I can do whatever the fuck I want to. I can change my thought processes through healing. I can change my feelings through healing. I can change my behaviors through healing. And also, let me just make this very clear right now. I like to dilute and water down. In other words, tone down things. Have you ever felt like you can't do something because you're being pulled in a certain direction? Like you want to go this way, but you're being pulled in this way. And maybe, for instance, this is more of like a disciplined route. This is much more of like a pleasure-centered route. If you can tone down the reality that pleasure is just pleasure, if you can tone that down for yourself, you can drastically transform yourself as a person. Oh, it's just pleasure. Oh, it's just food. Oh, it's just a TV show. Watering everything down, making everything much more, I don't know, ordinary in general than the mind makes it out to be. Because let me make it very clear that many people's minds, and I would argue that these are people, no judgment, but these are people that are emotionally immature, emotionally underdeveloped. They tend to put a massive emphasis on things that don't require the emphasis. You ever get, like for instance, you ever get caught up literally walking back and forth, overthinking whether or not you should do something, all the while being out of touch with the reality that it's just whatever it is. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. But you overthink it back and forth because your mind is making it out to be a bigger fucking deal than it is. It's just pleasure. That's it. So, like, say for instance, maybe you want to learn something new. And it requires a lot of you to do so. Like, for instance, a lot of discipline, your energy, your focus, all of that stuff. Maybe you perceive yourself as somebody who has a very hard time focusing, for whatever reason. No labels. But if you were to see it for what it is, and you were to be like, wait a second, I just don't have to give it my power. And if I don't give it my power, then it pretty much weakens and dissolves. And then I can do what I want to do. And the other fascinating thing, too, is that doing what you want to do is also higher than the emotion in the equation. So if somebody is trying to motivate you by fear, fuck that, by the way. If somebody is trying to motivate you by fear, and the fear is overpowering, so you choose something that you don't want to do because the fear is there, you're essentially giving your power to fear, when instead you could just see it as fear. Like, oh, yep, that's fear. I don't care. I don't believe that anything in life is that fucking serious. And if anybody is trying to make anything out to be that fucking serious, well, I mean, of course, with, some fucking things considered. If it's like an actual survival, life, death scenario, then okay, cool, I get it. But, like, on a regular basis, ordinarily, you see this kind of stuff in sales all the time. This is your last chance. It's probably not. Nice try of using fear, but no thanks. I'll pass. Getting beyond the emotion that is there. It's just fucking emotion. It is. It's just fucking emotion. Seeing everything as just like regular based is very important here. Your free human agency can be so much better developed, so much better structured and played with if you understand that when you take yourself away from all of these different things that are trying to pull you in different directions and you actually center yourself, your entire fucking life transforms. Like, say for instance here, maybe you are in pain. Just an example. Just an example. Maybe you are in pain because you are not, I don't know, really good at a subject yet. And because you think that you're already supposed to be good, which you're not, takes time, develops with practice. Because you think that you're already supposed to be good, but you're not good, there's pain there. So rather than further and continuing to pursue the thing that would get you to achieve that, you want to instead get rid of the pain. It's just pain. Oh, hey, pain, there you are again. I'm going to keep going. It's just pain. It is. Recognizing and seeing for what it is your free human agency is the transformational process here. That free human agency that is separate from the family system you were raised in, that is separate from the friends and teachers and anybody else out there. You should do this, you should do that. Right. What do you actually want to do? How much time have you taken to yourself to get a better understanding of the power that you give to things that you don't actually need to? Tone everything way the fuck down. It's not that serious. It's not that important. And when you can see it for that, and you understand that, oh, wait a second, I do have free human agency. And with that, I am actually allowed to choose something that is different from what everyone else has told me that I should choose because they are not me, I am me. Differentiation element right there. Boundaries element right there. Yeah, that's pretty fucking wild. I mean, I can imagine that what you wouldn't want to do is get to 80, 90, or 100 and sit in a fucking pool of regret, wishing that you had done things differently when all you really had to do was recognize the reality of your free human agency, the autonomous person that you are, or that you might need to develop yourself into. But just doing the work and getting there. It's just work. It's just showing up on a daily basis. It's just pain.